Hello, beautiful Orion Starseeds. This is Indigo Angel, and I have been guided to do an Orion attunement and collective energy reading for Orion Starseeds. I myself halfway resonate as an Orion Starseed. I guess I can say that I've kind of struggled with my attunement to this collective, just because there are so many different aspects to Orion that can really kind of get people maybe thrown off if you're coming up through an ascension and you're trying to find out, where are my starseed origins. It's kind of like this push and pull relationship with Orion. It's kind of like this, I want to go there, but I don't want to go there. I kind of want to know, but I don't want to know, just because there are some really darker aspects to Orion with the Reptilians and the negative alien agenda and all this and that. But really it's because Orion really embodies the universal law of polarity and duality. So anybody who dares to kind of open this door to your Orion starseed origins, it's definitely, I've been finding to be one of the funnest attunements that I've yet to attune to. So it's getting more and more fun and interesting as I go. But essentially when you are expanding into these galactic dimensions and realms, there really are no rules, and it gets very bizarre, and it gets very anything goes, and any possibility is possible. So you have to really kind of gotta have an open mind and cannot be a very linear logical thinker, okay, to attune to these galactic aspects. But so essentially when we're attuning to the star system, or the main star in the celestial body. So in Orion, that's Betelgeuse and Rigel. And I've also been attuning my energies to Safe, and then Alnatak and Al-Nalam and Mintaka. And these are actually all Arabic names, because in the Western Dark Ages, the Arabics were the ones who actually kept astronomy alive. So a lot of our stars carry Arabic names. But and then this up here is Bellatrix, which is like the evil witch from Harry Potter or something like that. So keeping it fun. But Orion also makes me think of the twin flames, specifically Isis and Osiris, and the Christ versus Antichrist DNA within self. This also makes me think of the Reptilians and all the extraterrestrials that fall into that category, because there's a lot of very strange lizard-like species that live in the Orion Celestial Body. And so some of those that fall into that are the Greys. There's a lot of different types of Greys. There's the Alpha Draconians and the Dracos, which compile all of these races that are the negative alien agenda, are called the Orion Group or the Black League of Resistance. And essentially all of the galactic human wars in our entire history have been fought in Orion. So you hear a lot about the Orion Wars, which goes into the Christ versus Antichrist DNA within self, which originally stems from Lyra. But I'm trying to keep the reading, on the side of love and light, and kind of anchor in more of these Orion healing codes, and just know that the core of galactic human history is in Orion. So Orion is super important to our starseed origin history. And so it's truly beautiful. Orion fully embodies the duality, the light and dark within self, and the aspects of the ego that fights for the self, and that stands for truth and justice, but also its equal opposite qualities when you get into the negative alien agenda. So I kind of feel like I'm dancing with energy, just even talking about Orion, as some of these aspects And some of these topics I feel like have been off limits to kind of talk about in the light worker community. Like, all of the information's out there, but there's so much controversy around the light and dark aspects, and it really does stir up a lot of emotions to kind of start talking about Orion. So just because it really makes people take a deeper look at themselves and the templates that they hold within themselves, because you know, everything that we see in something else is a reflection of ourself in some way. So if we're seeing, and you can see here Orion, I don't know if I can get it close enough to see, but it says narcissism. So I have this deck. It is the Compendium of Constellations, and the artist and the author of this deck attached the word narcissism to Orion, and I'll get more into why that is. But just know that, like, if you're seeing these templates held outside of you, then you hold the template within you. And we all honestly hold a narcissism template in our DNA. It's just a part of our programming. It's all about expansion and how you can come to see these templates and how you can come to identify their functioning and expand beyond them in intelligence and awareness, so that way you can put them in submission to your higher self aspects. But so I just feel like, I said, on some level, like, kind of talking about Orion is just dancing with this energy. So I hope y'all want to dance with me, so to speak. But I also consider myself to be a very multi-dimensional, I speak very interdimensionally and very galactically, and I like to jump all over a lot into my Arcturian crop circles. So just try your best to stay with me. The more that you get used to how I talk, the more that you'll like start to understand what I'm talking about, hopefully. So Orion is the celestial hunter, or the great huntsman in Greek mythology. He is Poseidon's mortal son, which Poseidon himself holds a magnetism and a sex appeal, being ruled by Neptune. So if you think about Neptune, I don't know. When I think about Neptune, I just think of mystery, and I think of allure, and I think of the depths of the subconscious. I think of like this mosaic, like interdimensional, like swimming mesh, like the colors of the labradorite. And it's kind of has, you know, like this drawings, like even somewhat of sex appeal to it. So you can only imagine what, you know, Orion was actually like a very sweep you off your feet kind of guy. So this constellation in specific does carry the divine masculine template, and Sirius A carries the divine feminine template. So my belief in this stems from the twin flame Egyptian love story of Isis and Osiris, as her soul was from Sirius and Osiris was from Orion. And also in the winter solstice, in the alignment that takes place in the sun. So the sun comes up perfectly and aligns to Sirius in the 3 stars in Orion's belt, completely to birth a new sun, the Messiah and the Christed consciousness. So it has, you know, it carries all the components of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and all of the stories throughout history, throughout past civilizations. I'm pretty sure we can attach the divine masculine template to Orion. So the 3 stars in Orion's belt completely align to the 3 Egyptian pyramids of Alnatok and Anilam and Mintaka. So, which the more that I attune to the Orions, even though I identify with Sirius as a Sirian and the Sirius Collective, which is exactly how it sounds. It's a very serious collective, but it's for good reason, and it's to get things done. It's to anchor in your galactic consciousness. It's stepping into your soul purpose and the missions on Earth as your Orion, as your Sirian, as your Arcturian, as your Andromedan self, and essentially attuning to our galactic collective and embodying as your galactic species, your DNA, your genetic coding, and anchoring in this mission of love and light, guiding humanity to the path of enlightenment, and anchoring in higher intelligence, higher technology, new ways of thinking, and balancing ultimately the micro and macrocosm reptilian aspects within self, because we all hold reptilian DNA. And the universal laws that not predominantly human aspects can come to understand. So if you're holding predominantly human aspects, which means you're a very linear thinker, you're a very logical thinker, nothing exists outside of what you see, you are very dedicated to the materialistic world and to money and to wealth and materialism, these types of things are not going to be something that you can grasp or understand. So to understand this, you would have had to have gone through a spiritual awakening, physical body ascension. And here's where there's the differences. So you have an awakening, but you're essentially bringing your body through to this fifth dimensional existence, because you're interdimensionally existing in these fifth dimensional realms and higher, sixth dimension, seventh dimension, eighth dimension. So you're having to bring your body through to this. And so the physical body ascension can be really like some of the hardest aspects to ascension in general, but I can get more into that at some other time. But then there's an attuning process, a channeling process, an embodying process of 12 dimensions of interdimensional consciousness. So Christed consciousness, and expanding to embody whole galactic extraterrestrial collectives of consciousness. So this is the Aquarian age where all possibilities are possible, and the only thing really holding you back from anything is fear. So learning to become that expanded self that has self-love, being your own master, your own adept, your own sage, and expanding into the realms of bizarre and uncommon to open new doors like a great warrior would. Orions hold our humanism. So they, like I said, they hold the universal laws of duality, equal opposites, especially being so close to Gemini, which holds the third dimensional house of time, space, and gravity. And I'll get more into that in the reading. And just keep in mind too that many divine feminines may still resonate as Orion Starseeds. As androgynous beings, we carry both templates within. But most divine masculines prominently resonate with Orion. Many divine masculines I know will specifically tell me that this is the star system they gaze at in the sky, and this longing of home and calling to their deepest aspects of their soul. But one of the most fascinating aspects to the Orion constellation is the nebulas called the Messier 42 and Messier 78. So the nebulas are where the stars are born. And every time I've ever had a meditation of souls waiting to incarnate or even reincarnate, I would always see like this fetus floating in space. And I just had this deeper knowing that these beautiful nebulas are incubation stations for non-physical consciousness, like a way station. And the Arcturians actually teach about non-physical way stations for consciousness, but Orion, I feel, is holding the largest nebulas and birthing more souls into the constellation over all others. So Greek mythology expressed Orion as being extremely good looking. They say the most handsome man that ever lived, and he was the only love of Artemis, the virgin goddess of hunting. And he also was a very skilled hunter, but also very boastful and would irritate people around him. As you can see on my card here, it says the narcissism. So really attaching this template of narcissism to the Orion star system. He bragged too often about being able to kill every creature on Earth. And so Mother Gaia dispatched a scorpion to rise up out of the earth and kill Orion. And Zeus actually took pity on Orion and placed him in the sky. But Zeus also memorialized the scorpion on the other side of the sky. So I'm a Scorpio sun, and a Cancer moon. So I am very much an arachnoid. But I've always had that kind of relationship with Orion where I feel like it's this love-hate, like very back and forth, like hot and cold, detached, but yet so close, but yet longing to know. Like, it's like, I don't know. I think this Greek mythology story is like nailing my relationship as being the scorpion in the sky that killed him. But you'll see in his right hand, he's holding a club. And in the left hand, he's holding a shield to fight off the bull of the constellation Taurus. So if you're a Taurus, and the Taurus actually lies northeast to the constellation, if you're a Taurus or your sun or your moon is in Taurus, you're going to highly resonate as an Orion Starseed. And then also, if you draw a line from Rigel all the way to Betelgeuse, you'll have Gemini. So, and the message on Gemini is unite. I'm just trying to find a place that it doesn't glare. So if your sun or moon is in Gemini, you're also going to resonate very, very deeply as Orion, being your starseed origins. Also, specific birthday dates would be June 1st through June 1st through June 7th and June 17th through the 27th. So even a little bit of that Gemini Cancer cusp is going to be feeling the Orion Starseed on a soul level. So it's pretty fascinating. Definitely if you have Gemini and Taurus in your natal chart. You might not even have, like, let's say you have a sun and moon that's in something else, but like your Venus, your Mercury, your Mars, your Saturn, your Jupiter are all in like Taurus and Gemini, then you're going to really resonate as an Orion Starseed. So like I said, it's always best to pull your natal chart. But just keep in mind, there is this benevolent and malevolent aspect to the collective of Orion. This interdimensional and extraterrestrial DNA of Orion called the Orion group that consists of the Alpha Draconics, Nordics, and Dracos and carries multiple conflicts within and fights for resources. They're like fighting over the creation of negative ego in humanity through mind control. So it's just very detailed, and I could probably make another video on this aspect of Orion, but I'm trying to keep the energy on the side of love and light. But this is a huge component to the Orion Wars, Christ versus Antichrist DNA. All main battles in human galactic history were fought in Orion, and the war started over territories over the cradle of Lyra. But they spread to the Orion and essentially became about false king tyranny and victimizer mind control. But that goes more into the Atlantean cataclysm, Chimera dragons, and Tiamat, and that's just like entirely another video in itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the reading now. Okay, so today the 3D messages are gonna be these two rows here, and the 5D messages are gonna be these two rows here. So my top messages are coming from the Syrian Starseed Tarot. And these row of messages here are going to be coming from the Angels of Atlantis. And this is like one of my favorite decks just because there's so many components and aspects that it can really help with understanding expansion into the dimensional realms using chakras and archangels. So it's amazing deck. And then down here, I'm honoring a couple Galactic Shamans. So the two cards in the middle here are coming from the Arcturian Galactic Travelers deck. And this is from Alessandra Giglioli, and she is a Galactic Shaman who's channeled these master guides from interdimensional realms of existence. And then also Krista Risa, And she channeled these two little cards out here on the side ends here, and she is an Orion Starseed. So I thought she would be a fun one to throw in here. And some of these decks I actually get off of Etsy, or if I end up finding a specific Galactic Shaman that I'm really liking their messages, I'll like order their work. So if anyone's looking to do anything like that, you can find their work on Etsy. Or Alessandra Giglioli, you can just find her by searching her name, and I think she has a website you can purchase from. But so I'll go ahead and get right into the readings for the 3D and 5D messages. Okay, so for the Orion Starseed energy messages, so this would be your third dimensional messages. This would be pertaining to your physicality, and it's the Six of Flames. So this card is about vindication. It's about acknowledgement, wanting or needing to be acknowledged in your physical aspects. Needing recognition, but it can also be pride bordering on the realm of arrogance, and the potential for any type of leadership role going like in the direction of you turning into like this dominant aspect, and it being more for the gratification of one's own ego. So it also suggests that the seeker might lose perspective and become inflamed in his or her own success or creative vision. So you can kind of see how there's these 5 other flames with these 5 other hands that are holding on here. But like the 6th wand or the 6th flame is like the brightest. So just be careful how you're projecting your energies, and remember to honor those around you. Some questions you might want to ask yourself are you able to remain humble after your success? Do you honor the people who surround and support you? Or do you diminish their light with your own sense of self-worth? In victory, do you see the highest good for all or only yourself? In a 5th dimensional frequency, energy is more supported with a unity mindset. So when you're like constantly looking for the best outcome for everyone, then those are the energies that are supported in a 5th dimensional frequency. So are you noble in your quest, or are you becoming convinced of your own greatness? So this is really about kind of like rehumbling yourself, but still honoring those around you. Okay, so I would say as an Orion Starseed, this can become very true just because it does hold that duality. It does hold that humanism, the Christ versus Antichrist DNA within self, service to self versus service to others, STS versus STO. So like just really being aware so that way you can hold those higher self aspects as your priority. Unity consciousness, Christed consciousness, Orion consciousness, Arcturian consciousness, holding this as your priority over service to self. But then again, sometimes service to self is necessary in some situations. So it's really about balance. And the energy center that presents is the Sacral Chakra. So you can see this is the Sacral Chakra here. And the message is to surrender. So the Sacral Chakra, well, in astrology, this is the 2nd dimensional house ruled by Taurus. So you could technically say that Taurus kind of governs the Sacral Chakra. It's ruled by Venus. It's ruled by Earth. It's a feminine quality. It is quiet, affectionate, patience, but also practicality. It can be resistant sometimes. So really wanting to cleanse, clear, and awaken and activate that solar plexus chakra, bring awareness and consciousness to its qualities so that way you can transmute anything that you need to surrender and release that's withheld within the sacral aspect of you. Some of the things that the sacral chakra can represent would be like the twin flames, the soulmates, the deep feelings of passion for love or spirit. relinquishing aspects of your life, and healing will come. So surrender. It's actually a very common human quality, a human misperception that anything can be controlled. Nothing can be controlled. So really needing to relinquish this aspect of feeling like you can control anything, so that way the healing can come. You'll notice most times when you surrender to the universe in your deepest griefs, in your deepest times of hurting or pain or healing, that is when you notice, that's when the changes happen, is when you finally let go. So needing to let go. And needing to focus on recognizing the presence of love and peace. So Archangel Zaphiel too, I had some information on him. So Zaphiel is the sacred lover. Like I said, romance, twin flames, soulmates. It can also be ecstasy, this deep feeling of passion for love or spirit. It could be compassion, which is the highest vibrational frequency. It's this very blessed virtue. Or just surrendering, which is relinquishing an aspect of your life. And that is an illusion that something can be controlled. Everything you surrender will be placed with something better. And angels use high frequency opportunities like this to impart sacred loving information. So it's just a blockage, or like a learning. It's really a learning aspect. So you're learning a new lesson, transcending a human role. Zaphiel is the knowledge of God, and he's ruled by Saturn. It's the maternal spirit. So the next message that presents, this is also third dimensional messages. So the very physical aspects of you, the more human aspects of you, but also very still much a starseed, because as these galactic beings and as these soul embodied beings, we are very aware of our human, we're very aware of our third dimensional existence, of physicality, of having to exist in this world, but we've become very good at, and I don't want to say minimalizing, but simplifying these aspects, so that way we can be more of our embodied selves, more of our soul aspects, more of our starseed, more of our galactic self. So the Five of Crystals is really more about lessons of spirit. So it's kind of, it's kind of greed on possessions that seem to unfold in this card. It represents lack of material prosperity, failure, and loss. It can indicate sometimes loss of a job, or financial insecurity, or just even feeling like really alone right now. So this is probably on your mind very heavily. This is something that you're thinking about a lot. It's this feeling of maybe abandonment, or even being anxious, or unwanted. You can see in the picture, I guess she's an Atlantean priestess. She was banished along with her broken crystals. And it's a great lesson that she's been forced to learn, standing alone out in the cold. So now with her worthless possessions broken by her feet, what is she going to do? She's got to kind of start over. She's got to learn the lesson. This card is the ultimate spirit messenger. So the focus on material possession, or the misuse of its energy and power, is a warning that only true wealth to be gleaned from spiritual abundance of the heart and soul. Everything else can be lost or taken from you, or broken, or devalued to worthlessness in an instant. So really not taking anything for granted, and really practicing gratitude as much as possible. Gratitude will instantly pull you back into those higher vibrational frequencies. So when things feel really, really bad, or you're feeling alone or abandoned or unwanted, start practicing gratitude. Even if it sounds really stupid for what you're practicing gratitude for, like, I'm thankful for my toothbrush today, or I'm thankful for, just this moment to just sit here and do nothing. Like, just be grateful for everything. It will completely pull you back up into that. And if you're in this position, I'm assuming you're like having a 2 or 3 dimensional experience, but it can pull you back up into that 4th dimensional, 5th dimensional experience where you're trying to hold your vibrations in its highest, just by practicing this gratitude. And the next card that presents is Raphael, and this is actually the heart chakra. And the message is communion. So this kind of goes hand in hand with gratitude. One way to heal the heart chakra, one way to heal these yearnings and these losses and these feelings of being alone and abandoned, is to drink of Mother Gaia's spirit, is to drink of communion from the earth, and really get back to nature. The earth, the green represents the earth, the heart chakra represents the earth. And this is why grounding is so important in meditation. So when you're doing meditations, or even, okay, so one thing that I do is, like, I get stressed all day long at work. Like, I am hyper attuned to my plasma body, and I'm hyper attuned to energies around me. So I am constantly having to spray myself with Palo Santo. I literally ground maybe like 8 times a day when I'm at work, just to help keep me in that high vibrational place. So cleansing, communion, earth force, empathy. Oh, and what's even more beautiful is this is ruled by Cancer. It's ruled by the moon. And the moon is actually in Cancer today. So it is highly exalted in this position. So all of the moon's qualities are going to be very comforted right now. Cancer is a very nurturing sign. It's nurturing of the subconscious. It's nurturing of the divine feminine. It's nurturing. It's sensitive and sympathetic and kind and emotional and intuitive. So I mean, just everybody's really going to be feeling those energies today. Feeling everything through the heart consciousness first is super important for healing, coming together, grounding. Practice becomes crucial for healing and expansion and finding stillness and recentering space, purifying, drinking of Gaia to heal. Here you learn how connected the heart is connected to the earth. And you start clearing for collectives. You might be unconscious of doing this just yet, but the more that it becomes in your awareness and the more conscious you can become of doing it, like I said, like I'm grounding 8 times a day when I'm at work, like I'm spraying myself with Palo Santo. I am like taking little breaks, little things that just make me happy. If I just want to step out of the room for a little while and go say hi to a patient and give them a hug or do whatever, like I do these little things now, because just these little joys and these little peaceful moments throughout my day recenter my energies. And as an empath and as somebody who's highly intuitive to these outside forces, we have to be grounding, cleansing, clearing, drinking communion, so that way you can clear these energies. Which it seems like we're doing really well here in some physical aspects. Like, yes, we might be succeeding. We might be a very bright flame, but it's just asking to stay humble. It's asking you to surrender control. And then here it's expressing like mentally, like you might be moving forward, but here's that push-pull of duality, that polarity that we feel within the Orion aspects, which is very black and white, very good and evil, but all of this resides within self. So it's asking to cleanse, clear, and heal through the heart chakra of Archangel Raphael and drink of the communion. So the next card that presents, this is the 5th dimensional message for Orion Starseed. This is also could represent the subconscious, the darker aspects, the feminine aspects, which are depicted as the darker aspects, and the moon being in Cancer right now, so really kind of exalted in these qualities, kind of pushing things to the surface on a cellular level, for you to see, for you to feel. Just keep in mind that the more you become an expanded being, the more that you become a light worker and you become a soul embodied being, that these things that are hidden within you in the darkness are pushed to the surface. They become a distortion that is pushed out of you for you to see in your physical reality. It has to come up and out, and you have to clear this. So a lot of heavy emotions right now in the emotional body, in the etheric aspects, in your fifth dimensional self. So a lot of clearing and cleansing that's going on, which we kind of saw in that last card, in the communion card. But this is representing the devil. So the shadow in the regular tarot, not in a starseed deck, would be the devil, which represents your desires and your temptations, being bound in hopelessness or materialism and even ignorance. So this is you needing to take a deeper look at where you're realistically at. Make a list of your temptations. Literally write them all down. Like, what tempts me to go against my higher self, my deeper knowing? What's going to support my highest timelines? What's going to support what's not going to support frequency loops and karma, essentially. So just make a list of these things so that way you can really look at them and see them written down, like, wow, you know? So it's just asking you to take a deeper look at these aspects of yourself. You can see in the card here that this is actually the Sphinx of Giza, and it's a stargate of Sirius that gazes at the stars without a hint of good or evil for us to dwell upon. Remembering too that every single starseed holds their own entire gridding system. So what might be wrong to one person is okay to another. It's basically upon our own gridding system, and that's kind of why how karma works in its own mysterious way, is because everybody does hold their own gridding system. So really the only person that you have to answer to is your own gridding system. If you feel like something's bad and you go ahead and do it anyway, then you're creating karma, because that is something that your higher self holds you accountable for. So you're going to manifest the things to make you reap the karma of that. Some questions for you to ask yourself would be, what am I addicted to? How have I let myself become enslaved by it? How have I let my fear enchain me? How do I manipulate others? How does my ego-based consciousness dictate what I need? How can I rise above these lower energies and break free of my obsessions? What happens when I let go and stop trying to control everything and everyone? So I'm really kind of getting this feeling that the Orion Starseeds are dealing with this huge component of control, because these last two cards here were really talking about having things and then losing things, and then needing to surrender, needing to heal. And then the next card that presents kind of like the energy center or the dimension or the chakra following up to the shadow would be your Archangel Michael, your warrior. And I swear Archangel Michael is that strong light ray encodement that really exists within every divine masculine Orion Starseed that I have ever really met. Like, they carry this color ray encodement in their quantum field. It's very dominant, it's very present, and it is their I am presence. And the I am presence, which is all about balance ultimately, but it's about enchantment, it's about transmutation, it's about having patience. So this chakra, which is the crown chakra, also is the 7th dimensional house in astrology. So this is Libra. This is Venus. This is air. This is masculine. But it's interesting because Venus is also very dualistic, just like Orion, just like Gemini, just like Archangel Michael, that they have this love of beauty and artistic abilities, and they're very active and peaceful, and they bring patience to humanity and beauty and harmony, and they're diplomatic, but they're an iron fist and a velvet glove, and they get shit done. So because it's that warrior, it's that fighter. And just know that this that really, truly, Archangel Michael is the prince or the princess of light. It's all about repentance, and gifts of patience and righteousness and mercy and using discernment and sanctification. But it can be the magic of your life and the divine joy of a child. So the focus of the violet ray light encodement would be to focus of embracing universal impulse, manifestation, and abundance. So really, you're needing to focus on your impulses. Okay, so what are your impulses and what are your temptations? What is leading you into this aspect of yourself that you're dwelling in the shadow and creating your own shitstorm, really? I mean, so there's a lot of really good messages here for these Orion Starseeds. So the next message is the Ace of Chalices. And this is a beautiful message to kind of wrap up the reading. So these are the fifth dimensional aspects. These are the spiritual aspects, the etheric aspects of you. And the Ace of Chalices is really all about new opportunities, new love, reflection, and outpouring of emotions or renewal. This card is all about acknowledging or expressing your feelings and empathizing with others. So here's that dualistic nature of Orion coming in with like, here's all of your shit you need to look at. But guess what? Beautiful messages for you in the spiritual aspect. So once you get your shit together, you will be overflowing with this cup of joy, this cup of emotions, and you will be fulfilled. So it's really a pretty amazing card. And I really like this message here. And so the energy or the chakra or the dimension to back up that is the Causal Chakra. So this is actually outside of the physical body. So these three cards here are within the physical body. We've expanded out of the physical body. We are now in the etheric aspects of you. This is the Causal Chakra, which is representation of spirit realm. So Orion, you are very much in spirit realm and you are looking for new beginnings on that emotional, on that spiritual level. Just know that Archangel Michael is the divine guide, so he will guide you through this. This is ruled by the 8th dimensional house. So this is ruled by Scorpio, the scorpion that stung Orion and killed him. So like, it's not to be feared, but it's to be embraced. Be more open to spirit realm. Be more open to the gateway to the angelic kingdom, to rainbow light encodements, to your clairvoyances. Expanding outside of the body, you might start to see auras. You might start to activate more clairvoyancy. So become clairaudient, clairvoyant, claircognitive. There's lots of different gifts and abilities that come online when you expand in light, when you expand in love. Here you might start communicating with light beings. So you might start communicating to the Galactic Orion Council that is in Betelgeuse. Okay, you have to expand and you have to be open to this. You might be communicating more with ascended masters and archangels. Now, if you're a highly expanded being, you've already attuned, channeled, and embodied these things. But if you're coming up in your ascension, these things might seem still very much outside of you. And that is how you know how far away and how many veils and how many levels of belief systems and deprogramming that you actually have to go through to attune your energies to these things. So just be open. Be open to your unicorn. Be open to your mermaid. Be open to your dragon. These are all aspects of spirit realm that start to open the door. Just know that Archangel Michael is regenerative forces. So beginning, end of life phases, and renewal phases. So if you're going through, Orion, this aspect in your physical and your mental and even in your emotional, lurking in the shadow, playing with the devil of temptation and in your impulses. Just know that there are beautiful new beginnings, and that you can embrace these aspects so that way you can manifest abundance. So beautiful messages, really. Overall, I really am happy with this Orion reading. And so I have, like I said, just some channeled messages from an Orion Starseed. So one of the messages was, show the world who you are. And reality, let's see if I can get it to not glare. Reality is around you, but if you focus on one reality, you have resigned from assisting planet Earth. It is multidimensional. So she's really saying that as you expand in love and light, you come to embody multiple perspectives. You come to embody multiple dimensional aspects of you within and without. You learn how to not project energies outside of you, and you learn to redirect energies as a multidimensional self. So if you are to focus on one aspect, you are being very linear. If everything in your day has to be written down on a schedule, and you have to make a list, and you have to do this, and there's no room for magic in your life, you're not being multidimensional. So it's all about opening your mind and expanding into awareness and higher consciousness, higher intelligence. Making use of your time is most important. If you are to ascend, you must locate the parts of yourself that you have forgotten. Right, so the more that we activate in light, the more that these ancient galactic codes are activated within your DNA, and that's when you start to remember who you are and why you came, Orion Starseed. And then Earth is getting lighter. You are letting go of fear. Okay, so yeah, anything and everything that's holding you back, it's a component of fear. So we know that all energy goes back to its sources of love and fear. So anything that's stopping you is a component of fear. So learning to identify what you fear and then surrendering to that aspect, because it is a misconception that anything can be controlled. So all I have left here is my two amazing galactic master beings that were channeled. And the first one, so I have my channeled master guides. And the first one here is Iliki, life former reptilian. So these are your galactic messages. So this channeled being resides in inner Earth in the center psychic body of Mother Gaia, and is bringing awareness of the micro and macrocosm aspect, that all of the astronomy that we see in the sky, the 88 constellations, are a projection of all the aspects or templates that our inner Earth holds, simultaneously existing with one another. So talking about being that multi-dimensional being, all of these aspects of you are simultaneously existing within. Okay, so as within, as without. The core is essentially what we are attuning to. So we're attuning to the Orion constellation, but we're actually attuning to Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse, the main red giant. We attune to the core center energies of that star. The Orion Council resides in Betelgeuse, so all of my Gemini Orions, you will feel Betelgeuse the strongest, and also the energies of Mercury. Mercury being Gemini's planetary ruler, and also I believe being Taurus's planetary ruler. So it's very fascinating how much Mercury takes a place within Orion even. But definitely check your natal chart. Like I said, depending upon placement of Gemini or Taurus in your chart is going to explain how you feel Orion and Mercury's energies. The DNA that we hold of all the species of inner Earth and that of the Milky Way. So that's why I say we can essentially attune our energies to all beings in the Milky Way galaxy once the light body is activated. So 12 strands of DNA, 12 species, 12 astrology signs, 12 dimensions of inner and outer earth consciousness, and finally tune them. And from there, it is a process of purification and detoxifying out untruths on a cellular level. Once these impurities are cleansed from the body on a cellular level through listening to the light body, the crystalline body, the plasma body, and learning to really listen to your DNA and what it's telling you to do. If it's telling you to sleep, if it's telling you not to eat meat, if it's telling you to drink more water, if it's telling you to pull away from toxic people because it's physically making you sick, once you're a heightened, activated light body, negativity and toxic energies will physically make you sick. It will literally make you have to go lay down and go to sleep because your body emits plasma from the spine, which I can get into all of that later. But so we hold all of this DNA of all the plants and animals and all human beings that are of the past, present, and future. And as more of the light body activates, the remembering is activated and pushed through the subconscious to become conscious. Okay? So, pretty awesome message there, Eoliki. The last message of our channeled master being is Warrior of the Light, Orion. And this is the being that has made, so it's going to tell a little story here, but this is a being that has made conscious choices to embrace the light. He's expanded to see his ego, his human aspects, his victim mentalities, his false sense of pride, comparisons of self to others, his judgments, his fears, and decides to choose his higher self aspects in all moments. He has left his life to become one with the mission. His noble spirit seeks to free all imprisoned, oppressed, manipulated beings. He feels empathy, compassion, but never falters to his desire to protect. He embraces his Archangel Michael, his Orion warrior, and presents every day in such a way that he feels he needs to save souls. He sees and resonates deeply with mind control coming from Orion. He knows far too well, as they were the first to experience a war on consciousness. This is felt on a deeper soul level, a deep knowing. He sees the mind control on the radioactive rays like TV, cell phone, radio, 440 Hitler-induced hertz that America adopted. The Orion Starseed sees the mindset that is needed to profoundly assist with these aspects of mind control. So it's asking those who are ready to step up in love and light, these warriors of Orion, because they're the ones who can assist with this mind control that is over humanity and over the United States right now. As an expanded, activated, awakened galactic Orion, you come to a place where you start to call your energies back home and you reprogram your own realities. You're cautious and careful of who you allow into your mind. This is the precious gem that you honor now. So you honor your mind, you honor your heart. And you're very careful of what you allow into your mind. So very cautious of all of the programming mechanisms that our country has to offer to us here. And even those who don't live in the United States, all of my friends in Australia and other countries, knowing that you can rise above the mind control because you have the Orion DNA within you to rise above this. Okay? So it truly was a really beautiful reading for the Orion Starseeds today. I'm really happy with the messages that came through. I feel like it completely nails it on the head, honestly, as far as like attuning to the Orion energy and seeing that duality within. And then really the reading coming through and showing that duality as well, and the internal struggle, internal battle, but ultimately coming out to a hopeful and peaceful manifestation of prosperity and abundance through this Ace of Chalices here. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the energy for this reading for the Orion Starseeds. I hope you really resonated with my messages today. If you really liked this reading, if you would like my video and subscribe to my page, that would be amazing. So that way I can keep putting out more of these videos and more of these energy readings and attunements to anchor in this galactic consciousness and wisdom and higher intelligence and knowledge to expand us all into the galactic realm. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a beautiful, wonderful day. Thank you.